plenty of TV shows and films that target young adults and teenagers. Most of them only consider what teenagers want to see, and not necessarily what they need to see. As we learned in the previous video, one of the factors that make Euphoria different is its raw depiction of substance abuse. The show strives through its cinematic techniques to give insight and not glorify or romanticize its heavy content, and on the contrary, not sugarcoating. This leads us to the second key factor, the effective articulation of trauma on screen. Within its class of R-rated shows and films, Euphoria is by far the most digestible. Why is that so? I feel, in my opinion, the creator of the show, Sam Levinson, is one of the most underrated. Not many filmmakers can master the art of emotion, let alone an overflow of it. Sam has the ability to translate excessive emotion on screen into a simpler language, making it easier for the viewer to comprehend. I feel this is one of the skills that make him a good filmmaker, and potentially among the greatest in the 20th century. But was this always the case? Let's compare Euphoria with one of his earlier films, Assassination Nation. A film that follows a group of teenagers as their town turns into mayhem after a hacker leaks everyone's private information. Although the movie is not a terrible movie, I would describe it as flavorless. It has some good qualities such as a stylized pace. However, its characters lack depth. On the contrary, most of Euphoria's characters are a compound made up of all sorts of elements. Take Rue, a character who in any other film could have been seen just as an addict or rebellious teenager. But Sam Levinson adds complexity to her. She's loving and understanding, yet manipulative and destructive. And these conflicting qualities make up what we call a human, someone relatable. This creates an intriguing and rich character. Secondly, Euphoria's stylized cinematography, colorful sets, and wardrobe design visualize the feel-good state of substance intake. Although this type of approach runs the risk of glamorizing such tragedy, it makes for an easier distinction between the highs and the lows, between the good moments and the tragic consequences. We notice a cooler color grading every time the characters suffer the consequences, whereas Assassination Nation cinematography almost delivers a visual monotone, which makes it come off a little morbid. Lastly, while Assassination Nation is focused on the plot, Euphoria focuses on its character arcs. Its strength may not be realism, but rather the character's genuine reactions to the surrounding events. The last one on our list is what probably makes Euphoria stand out the most. The show shows both sides of the story. The perception of the addict, otherwise referred to as the victim, and the perception of a loved one, the real victim. Sam Levinson mentioned, "I think it's crucial that film and television portray addiction in an honest way, that we allow for its complexities to play out, that we show the allure of drugs, the relief they can bring, because that is ultimately what makes them so destructive." The key words in his statement are allure, relief, and destructive. With these keywords in mind, let's watch the following.
Ain't a pill that I didn't take.
And then it happens. That moment when your breath starts to slow.
I'm asleep when
And every time you breathe out all the oxygen you have. And everything stops. Your heart, your lungs, and finally your brain. And everything you feel and wish and want to forget, it all just sinks. And then suddenly, you give it air again, give it life again.
As seen in the clip, Sam uses a few techniques such as voiceover, close-up shots, a soft neon light, and dim surroundings to tactfully enclose us in Rue's mind. We almost feel what she feels. Although we may not condone her behavior, we start to understand why she desires the drugs. But what are the consequences?
Shut the fuck up! Hit me! I know you want to get the fuck off of me! Don't you fucking touch her! Get out! Get the fuck out of here! Off of me! Get out! Where are my fucking pills? What did you do? Where are they? No! You want to tell me what to do with my fucking life, huh?
Eve picks the apple from the tree, and we all die. Let's take a look at how Sam Levinson displays the other side of the story, the loved ones.
Can you grab me a towel?
In your family.
Gia, I need you to grab me a towel. I found her down. I gave her one dose of Narcan to refresh her.
That's when they get uncool. It's actually a very narrow window of cool.
Makes it hard for them to fall in love. Living with the fear that at any moment, the rug can be ripped out from under them and they lose everything. Especially the people that they love. You ever think about that? Yeah, probably fucked up for life. But hey, you're gonna have to make peace with that. Just like you're gonna have to make peace with the fact that you could be responsible for some shit like that and then get up in front of a whole group of people who are struggling with the same issues and lie about being clean. You know what I'm saying?
Now that we have the perception of both parties, rather than focusing on the film's explicit content, we recognize it for its art and informativeness. And these three reasons are what make Euphoria a great show. Euphoria, as successful as it is, has been one of the most controversial shows to hit the screen, and has led to many disagreements and received a load of backlash. And honestly speaking, some people's opinions may be valid. For instance, concerned parents, who feel as if the show makes drugs seem cool. However, as a member of the audience, you have to understand that our job as filmmakers is not to take sides or provide judgment to the character, but to give a 3D perspective and depth to the character. The material may not necessarily be a solution to the problem, but it can provide insight. Now, to the concerned people out there, let me know in the comment section whether you'd like me to discuss in the next video, does Euphoria glamorize substance abuse, and if so, what is the solution? Or if you would like me to discuss how Sam Levinson places an audience into an addict's head. Let me know in the comment section which you prefer. But before you do that, like, share, and subscribe.